What's good, party people? This is Accord in the Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to these good brothers. Brother Me Softly. He's Joe Panther Jr. He's the Metal Geek, and collectively they are known as the dudes at Ringside Podcast. Gentlemen, what's going on?
What's going on?
Not too much. Hey, what's going on, party people of the Woods crew in the woods? Geeky, introduce yourself first, bro.
What's going on, Ringside? Oh, wait, wrong show. There you go.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of crazy because, like, I was actually talking to Geek earlier. I thought I might have inquired before, for you guys to do this and what have you. And my mind was all weird, whatever. I'm like, I've never asked. Why? You guys bring the party all the time. And I thought it would be kind of cool to have you guys in the hot seat because you guys are usually the hosts. Yeah. But I was like, let me flip the script a little bit and have you guys on as guests. So I'm so glad that you guys both obliged.
Of course.
No, thanks for inviting us, dude. Thank you so much.
You're family, man. You're part of that fam. You'd be at the Thanksgiving table with us. You'd be shooting the shit with the wrestlers and all our buddies. You'd be hanging out.
I hope so. I feel like I have to earn my place. So that's what I'm doing here, but my goodness. First off, how did you two meet?
Want me to start a Geek or do you want to start?
You tell the story, Joe, because you're the storyteller.
We were in college. Geek always gets mad at me when I say this. When we were in college, Geek was very shy and didn't talk to anybody. And everybody knew I was Mr. Wrestling, and I talked to everybody and all the girls and everybody. And the resident was like, "You need to hang out with this guy. He likes wrestling." And I'm just like, okay. And then I looked over and saw him, and I'm like, this tall, skinny guy with his big nose and his big puffy hair with the braces. That's like, and they're like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Hi, I'm Lance." And I'm like, "Hi, I'm Joe." He's like, "Want to watch wrestling?" I'm like, "All right." And at first I'm like, I don't want to hang out with this guy. This guy looks like a loser and doesn't even talk to me. He's probably cries in his bedroom at night with a random tissue he leaves under his bed. That's what I thought in my head the whole freaking time. So the resident, if you don't hang out with him, you're gonna have in school for an entire school year. And I was like, I don't want in school for an entire school year. So I hung out with him. We went up to the room and started watching wrestling. He showed me this box of wrestling, and he said, "Well, you want to watch these DVDs?" And I'm thinking, this guy's trying to show me wanting to watch porn with me or something. I'm like, "Resident, you want to watch ROH?" And I'm like, "What the hell's ROH?" He's like, "Oh,
this was back in 2002, by the way." So.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Yeah, show me." He showed me the light of CM Punk, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan,
Bryan Danielson. You name it. Samoa Joe. He showed me the light of Ring of Honor, and I have never looked back. This is why I love independent wrestling. If it wasn't for Geek, if it wasn't for Geek, this guy right here, I would never love independent wrestling so much that me and Geek eat, sleep, and repeat independent wrestling. This is why we love helping independent wrestlers so much that every day of our week, we have a phone call, a ding at the dudes at Ringside doorbell, and we answer it. Unlike the ones in our gallery that still haven't been seen yet.
Wow. Yeah. Is that the way you remember it, Geek?
I mean, I remember it differently because the thing is, he really didn't tell me this until maybe a year later or 2 years later, and I'm like, then why are you still hanging out with me?
Because I want to get in school. I'm be stuck in my room forever. You know me, I'm a ladies' man. I can't be stuck in a bedroom. How are you supposed to be hanging out with girls?
Whoa, hey, what is it? The big Dick Dudley, are you?
Yeah, man. Different girls, different hours, baby. The Panther's always on the prowl.
Dun, dun, dun. So, I mean, obviously, Geek is the one who brought Ring of Honor into your life and your atmosphere. But what wrestling were you watching prior to Geek's kind of introduction to this new and burgeoning company?
I'm more of the I don't know if you watch a lot. I'm Mr. Old School on the podcast, certified. I like the old school stuff. I was into the old school WWF, WCWs, the NWAs, like stuff like that. And also, as you know, I have a relative, Grandpa, always comes up and says, "Remember me, Mr. Jose Quinones, God rest his soul." It always goes back to my grandpa. My dad tells me he's a professional wrestler, and I'm hooked for life on wrestling because I have a mic drop forever because him. Now, anybody ever tells me, "Oh, I watched wrestling," because one of the guys like, "What is your hook on with wrestling?" They say, "Oh, this is why." My grandfather was a professional in 1955 to 1965. He wrestled under Vince McMahon Sr. and he hung out with the likes of Haystacks Calhoun, Classy Buddy Blassie, Killer Kowalski. They used to hang out at my grandfather's house, drinking Rheingold beers, smoking cigars, hanging out in the living room, just talking and shooting. I don't know if you get a curse on your podcast, shooting the shit, just hanging out, talking stories to each other. Heels hanging out with good guys. Heels hanging out with faces. If there was pictures of that nowadays, that'd be kayfabe broken 100%. Gimmick kayfabe broken like forever. Like Classy Freddie Blassie hanging out with Killer Kowalski, and even though 2 heels. Like, if I could build a time machine, I'd love to go back in that time and go Geek. I always tell Geek, if I could build a time machine, I go back in that time, make a fucking video with my grandpa, interviewing him, hanging out with all the guys. So, like, when can you say I hung out with Killer Kowalski last night?
Right.
Oh, I hung out with Haystacks Calhoun. Like, really. Like,
and the enormity of those gents, which ever so spiffy over on Twitch, go ahead.
That's our mod. That's our mod right there.
It's my mod.
Yeah. But I mean, that's some amazing stuff. And I mean, the young you, Joe, I mean, like your brain, even obviously you say if you go back in your time machine, you'd be like, oh, but like even then, like that had to blow your mind because again, the kayfabe broken. I mean, if this is the Watts territory or Vince Sr., right? It's fucking sacrilege to have heels and babyface, bad guys, good guys, kind of fraternizing together and what have you. So, like, what was the initial impression of that?
Like, my dad telling me my grandfather's a wrestler, I was just like, what? My grandfather was a wrestler, like the thing in the ring? And he's like, yeah. But it was like his era wrestling. It sounds kind of like I'm breaking the mold, but back in his day, he's Latino. They made all the Latino guys bad guys, Samoans heels. So he was a bad guy. He was the guy, as Geek would say, he put people over. Mm-hmm. Me and Geek always have this big discussion how my grandfather was a heel and he never really won that many matches because I researched his matches. He lost a lot of matches.
Right.
And a lot of the faces he faced, they beat him. And I'm like, why did he always lose? And Geek kind of like went into the explainer for me. He's like, Joe, because your grandfather was a heel, and back in those days, the heel didn't win. They lost because they were putting everybody over. And he's like, your grandfather nowadays would be so proud of what they're doing with heels nowadays. He'd be so proud. Even though my grandfather would be really, really old, he'd be like 80 years old, 90 years old. He'd be extremely proud. I would have to explain him because he'd be really old. But what's going on, but he would be so proud to know that his grandson still brings his name up every single episode to every single wrestler that comes on our podcast, and every single luchador that comes on is always honored to know there was a luchador in the 50s and 60s that lit the way for all of them.
That's absolutely brilliant, and I'm a big purveyor of standing in the influence of giants. My grandfather, funny enough, was the first broadcaster in Fiji, where my mom and her family are from. So in some way, I also am following a little bit of my grandfather's footsteps. So I'm so glad that you're doing your grandfather's legacy justice.
Even though I'm a face and Geek's the heel, but I'm a tweener. I'm a face heel. I'm a face heel.
Sometimes I pick on Joe on the podcast.
Oh, all the time. All the time. That will be pissed. I'm like, yeah, he would be pissed that you're talking shit to me.
Which, I mean, it's kind of wild, right? Because Geek, you're the one who kind of brings up Ring of Honor, where Joe basically has this, WCW, WWF, sometimes ECW type mindset, right? And you're kind of bringing this to the table, a different style of wrestling. Shout out to this Spanish renounce team of Joel and
SATs.
Yeah, right. Oh,
SATs.
God. SAT, Amazing Red, Xavier, RIP. But there's a whole slew of guys. That was the first time that Chris Daniels, in my estimation, was really featured, the way that he was. He
was in WCW too, though.
But he wasn't featured like he was in ROH.
The ROH is what made Christopher Daniels.
Yeah,
and then Impact. Then they took him, and he went to Impact.
Yeah, absolutely. There's what was it? The Nashville Asylum shows. Right?
yeah.
Wednesday night pay-per-views for $10 a pop.
$10.
Yeah, and
they were good paper. Some of them were actually pretty good pay-per-views.
They were. I mean, we saw Ron Killings. The now R-Truth. He did a stint as K Crush early on in his his first WWF run. But we saw him as the NWA champion. We saw the NWA championship, 10 pounds of gold, get featured in a way that it hadn't been up to that point in almost 20 years. So very cool. Shout out to Jeff Jarrett for that. There's a lot that could be said of Jeff Jarrett and that title and that era, but
he was a champion half the time, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you see the clip they posted on Instagram a few days ago that Jeff Jarrett won the belt back from Ron Killings by a masked man hit Ron Killings in the back of the head with the steel chair, that guitar?
Yeah. No, and that was deep into the Asylum days. You're right.
They showed the clip. I was like, I wonder if Geek saw this. It was like,
I saw this a while back. So
Jeff Jarrett's head was looked like Roddy Piper's on that thing we were talking about before live. His head was covered in blood, and Killings didn't even have a drop of blood on him. I'm like,
to be honest, I was actually waiting for AJ Styles to get that belt.
Were you?
Yeah, I'm like, this kid's gonna be a star. So I was just waiting for that. I'm like, just wait for him to get that belt,
Dude, that Spinal Tap, finisher off the top rope. Holy shit.
Sick move.
Jesus. And Mod Queen.
Mod Queen. She says Mod Queen here.
She says A's. She had A's in her words, so instead of stop it, she says stamp it.
Stop.
Yeah. She has her own language.
There you go.
It's like her own language.
And laugh out loud. And between you two, she is the ref, basically.
Yep.
So after your kind of first meeting, right, and as you're starting to, Joe, kind of become abreast of the independent scene, especially of the early 2000s, where a lot of the luminaries from that scene are occupying the top spots in almost every company in the pro wrestling space, right? Yeah. And what is the course? Do you guys continue to watch stuff together, or do you go like, hey, I think we're at the point of our friendship that let's go and attend a live show?
We actually went to Ring of Honor, the first Ring of Honor show, the one with CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
Really?
Yeah,
at
we
the
were
Rexplex.
The Rexplex in New Jersey.
And that's when I met my all-time favorite heel manager, God rest his soul. I met the God himself, the GOAT, the man with the coolest manager voice ever, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
That is amazing.
It was a tag match also on that card, Joe. You're forgetting. It was Jim Cornette managing Jack Evans and Roderick Strong against Colt Cabana. No, it was Colt Cabana and Jimmy Jacobs, managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan.
What?
Yes, I have a picture of my room. I take the picture book out and take a picture of the picture and send it to you on Facebook or wherever. Because this picture for me like means the world to me. Like it's in my picture book next to Rey Mysterio, and I met the one, the only. What's his name from ECW? What's his name? Not Dudley. You know who does this with the Superman S on his chest because he's the. What's his name? Oh my God, I could see his face.
In
ECW.
ECW
Franchise, baby. The franchise.
Oh, yes, the fucking Shane Douglas. There you go.
I met Shane, took a picture doing this with him with his belt on my shoulder. Yep.
Yeah.
Douglas. Yeah.
Triple threat.
So, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Which, I mean, being that you guys are, East Coasters, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was so much, and it's still to this extent, right? And you guys purvey it in your podcast. Like, there's so much great wrestling heritage, of the past, but also the time that you guys kind of came up in and still to this day. So, I mean, how do you guys fully encompass, like, the opportunity that you have to see so much great wrestling and be a part of it, as podcasters yourselves?
Yeah, exactly. And we're kind of jealous of you a little bit because you guys have PWG down there in LA. So, which is PWG, like those shows I heard are sold out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they feature the best of the indies right there.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, you gave me a dream tag match, which, I mean, wasn't a dream. They made it happen with, again, Jacobs, Colt Cabana. Like, it's fucking wild. And then to be flanked by two of the greatest managers of all time with Jim Cornette and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Funny enough, I was just listening to the Eric Bischoff, Bobby Heenan tribute episode on the way home. And they were talking about, Conrad Thompson and Eric. We were talking about, man, imagine if Bobby Heenan were alive to do a podcast, it'd be the fucking top thing on all the charts.
Oh, it would take over everybody's. Nobody would be able to top. It'd be number one forever.
Mm-hmm. All the stories he would have had.
Oh my gosh.
Loads of stories.
Him with Andre, him with Rick Rude, him with Kurt Hennig. Oh my gosh. Like,
yeah. And if you look at that first, like, the first incarnation, the WWF incarnation of the Heenan family, fuck, like,
everybody was a gold mine. Like King Kong Bundy, Mr. Perfect, Ravishing Rick Rude. He had, oh my gosh, he had so many stars that was like next. There's a picture on Facebook that pretty much everybody in the Heenan family is dead.
Wow.
Everybody, look at that picture. Everybody's dead.
Wow, that's a dubious distinction, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so sad. Like, it's so sad that people that belong to Jimmy Hart are still alive. 90% of his clients are all still alive. Nasty Boys, both still alive.
Well, I mean, Haku, I guess, would be the only exception to the rule, right? I mean,
yeah, I think Haku's yeah. I'm somewhere right now. Haku is punching a wall because he said, "I'm not dead."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's see. I think let's see. We've got King Kong Bundy. We've passed away. Andre, obviously. Perfect, obviously. Rick Rude, Big John Studd, and Paul Orndorff, who just recently passed away. So that was
hard. That was hard to hear that he died. Oh, that.
Yeah, and that's that's a guy who I remember watching that WCW Nitro where what ends up being the final match of his career, where I don't know if it was a stroke or whatever, but like I remember his arm kind of being in atrophy. He couldn't whatever, and he had like the crew cut. It wasn't the long locks of, Mr. Wonderful. He was still Mr. Wonderful, but not the ones that we were used to seeing, right? A little bit older, he had the crew cut and whatever. And I just remember, him going like that as they're putting him on the backboard. And it was just like, man, damn, dude. So, yeah, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ever so Spiffy says, LOL. They're always making fun of me. So, got you.
Joe does the spiffy voice, which is pretty funny.
My God. Am I on? Are we live yet, guys? Are we live? Always. That's like her thing before. She's like, before we go live, before the guest even comes in, she goes, "Are we live yet? Are we live?" And I always have to tell Geek, just tell her, yeah, just to get her all jiled up. Oh my God,
Wow.
I'm not in the room yet. She has a whole spiel she puts in the corner. Like, when you enter Twitch and you click the thing to go into the chat and it says you can't do this, that. She puts it as the show starts on the corner. It always says, like, don't do this, don't do that, you'll be blocked, banned, like the spiel. I call it the spiel. The rules of it.
The way that you describe it, I mean, there's got to be some greatness because, I mean, the way she sounds, as according to Joe, is like the late great Mitzi Shore, who started a lot of, comics. Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy. You go down the list. Rogan, Joey Diaz, and what have you. So, and she apparently you got to pop out of her because
she laughs all the time.
There you go.
I can make someone from crying to happy in 2.9 seconds. Either do my announcer voice that I did before live. You are now watching According to Woods, and now introducing. No, you are watching According to Woods, and now here's Woods.
I like it. Which Spiffy is the best, 100%.
That's the mod mom.
The mod mom.
And China got me, in terms of deaths, as well as, just, I mean, cultural impact, wrestling impact. Not impact, but I mean, China was a once in a lifetime talent.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. She affected all these female wrestlers, and now they're in the limelight. Like, everybody knows. If you don't mention China in your reason why I became a wrestler, either you're too young to remember her, or you just weren't affected by her career.
Which is wild to say, but I mean, you got all you needed to get with China, right? It was her theme song. Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like a nomad. Treat me for who I am, which is the rallying cry. That, I mean, I think the present day needs a little bit more. Everybody wants to go, how are we different, blah blah blah, whatever. But like, it's like, treat you for who you are.
And the entrance too, like she used to come out with the cannon, just
Jesus,
that was awesome,
Definitely.
Which I gotta ask, like, do you both have a favorite era of wrestling?
You go first.
I'm more of the current, but I think 2001 was probably one of my favorite. 2001's got to be a good era.
And what about it that made it, I don't know, pop for you? Pop.
WrestleMania 17, obviously. The Invasion, was the Invasion 2002? I think it was 2001, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Invasion was 2000. Yeah, the Invasion angle was, I thought it was great. I don't know what other people, I mean, besides the wrestlers that weren't a part of it, like Goldberg and Sting weren't on it, I thought for what they did, I thought it was good. We got a good Survivor Series match out of it. So
yeah,
we had Kurt versus Austin at SummerSlam, which was awesome. But
what about you, Joe? Oh, good.
Oh, sorry, keep going.
And then WrestleMania 17 as well.
Yeah, the Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston, the best WrestleMania ever. I'm still calling it that.
See, I tip my hat to you guys in the East Coast because my favorite WrestleMania is Mania 10. Yeah, and I mean, it was, Bret and Owen, basically the greatest opening match in Mania history, right? Then you get, obviously, the tying up of the Royal Rumble that happened the previous couple months before, where both Bret and Luger hit their feet on the ring, or outside the ring, I should say, at the same time. And you type that storyline, and Bret goes on, right? And he goes to face Yoko, and he beats Yoko, and then Owen comes out. And in the mind of the fan, it's psychological. We're like, wait, if Owen beat Bret, theoretically Owen could be champion, right? And just, like, Bob Holly and Scott Steiner picking up Brett on their shoulders. Then you had Macho kind of inviting Owen into the ring, and Owen's just like, and he walks back, and they continue the celebration. I think even like Donnie Wahlberg and Rhonda Shear from USA up all night, right?
Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah.
I think even Jonathan Taylor Thomas was there too. Yeah.
He was trying to put the moves on Pamela Anderson. So he was like a little kid. He was putting the moves on Pamela Anderson. Didn't you see that?
That was Mania 11, right? Yeah. It was Burt Reynolds. Why did I confuse Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Burt Reynolds?
He was there doing something. I remember seeing his face.
Okay.
That's when my sister's freaking out. She's like, "Oh my God, JTT's at WrestleMania, Randy." I'm like, I'm focusing on the fun stuff. I'm not looking at that door.
Yeah.
For me, my WrestleMania era is always just like the late 80s, because I was young. I was born 1983, so the late 80s, like 1980, like when I became like 9 or 10 years old. I'm 38, so it was like the WrestleManias that I watched. The first time I ever went to Madison Square Garden, he sat down with my popcorn, and I heard Howard Finkel announce, "Welcome to Madison Square Garden," and I'm like, wow. That's so cool. Like,
what?
Yeah.
First time I went to Madison Square Garden was for when the night that ECW and WCW invaded Madison Square Garden for the first time ever.
Wow.
That night Booker T gave Vince McMahon the scissors kick.
Wow. That's pretty historic. If you're gonna first time at the Garden, that's pretty snazzy.
Never got in there. WCW never went into the Garden. They only
never went in there.
I never understood that. Like, WCW could have sold out the Garden.
Yeah, but I think Vince had a stronghold on it because
he still does. He still
not anymore. Not anymore. Ring of Honor.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's kind of looser than it used to be, but
yeah,
like ROH did sell it out the Garden in
they did.
An hour.
Right.
I was there.
Yeah. Whoa, were you?
I was there at WrestleMania weekend during to see Great Muta as number 30 enter Madison Square Garden. Was that the first time he was ever there, or?
I think so.
Yeah, because he never. Yeah.
That's historic right there. I'm sorry, can I curse in the podcast? Because that reaction was holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Which, I mean, that's the thing. And I think Yoshihiro Sai or Ultimo Dragon, same deal. Him, even though he slipped the fuck into the ring, at the entrance and then slipped and the ropes.
I think Joe was there. Joe was there at that WrestleMania.
Mania 20?
I was at 20.
Yeah.
I had the bad seats behind the set, but I was there. But I changed it because this handicap dude and his handicapped son said, "I know this seat will be better for you." And I thought it was somewhere by the ring, and it ended up being on the opposite side by the gorilla position. So I pretty much saw Undertaker waiting for the sign to go to the curtain.
Wow.
Dude, I should have took a picture of it. He's just standing there like this.
Wow.
I was like, dude, I just saw like legend. I wasn't that high, but it was dark. So I really couldn't get a good picture of him to say. I got a picture of the set and the druids. All you see is the flames of the druid on the set. I was so messing with the people on the train when I was leaving that WrestleMania. When you leave Penn Station, Geek, like the lights go off immediately and then they go back on. I was messing with the people on the train. Lights would go off. I go, "Oh yes!" And you could tell where the wrestling fans were on the train. They were like, "Yeah!"
That's good.
It was hilarious. Every time the lights would go, I would go, "Oh yeah!" By the time I got to my stop, they were like, the people, the normal non-wrestling fans were all like,
"Are you done? Are you done?" Right?
I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done, you stupid meanies.
I mean, that's it. That just means that wrestling left an amazing, impression on you, and I think that's fucking amazing. To which, ever since Fifi says, I always like the 90s and early 2000s. Do you agree?
Yeah, 90s were good. 2000s, it had some. Sorry, I had to decorate my background like we always do. I had to throw up my Alfie t-shirt in the background. British wrestler, Alfie. You should have her on your podcast. She's really shy, but she's super cool.
Right on.
Yeah,
Right on. So, I mean, okay. For me, right, I'm not a fan of right now. Like, in terms of the WWE, there's so much good wrestling. GCW, they're selling out literally everywhere. Like, oh, they're in LA. Yeah,
Hammerstein. They're coming to Hammerstein, which is crazy.
yeah, that's the old WWF, Monday Night Raw staple, right?
No, actually, that's Manhattan Center.
Is it different?
That's down. No, it's the same building.
Okay,
but it's downstairs though. So
wait, it's one complex.
It's one complex, yes.
Yeah.
And
why you need to come to the East Coast, Woods. We'll show you all the fun wrestling places.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to take you up on that.
Same building. I think Hammerstein's either upstairs. What is it, Joe? Upstairs or?
Yeah, I think it's upstairs.
I think Grand Ballroom's upstairs. I think Hammerstein's downstairs. But they're in the same complex right there.
Jesus Christ. Two are like legendary, arenas, and they're one on top of each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
The fuck? Wow.
Yeah, you gotta come to the East Coast now.
Okay. Which I'm gonna say the same with you guys. You guys come to the West Coast, like, I mean, the old PWG, what is it? God, what is it? Not the Armory.
Reseda.
Yeah, Reseda. I mean, like, it was funny. The one and only time that I think I went to a Bola, right? That's the only PWG that I went to, probably about 2011, 2012. And you had, like, I think the Briscoes and the Wolves. It was like, and I'm a fucking huge tag team guy, and the Briscoes are fucking cool as shit.
I met Mark, actually. Mark's a cool guy.
They're both fucking,
I never met Jay, but Mark's a cool guy, though.
They're both like gems, just absolute fucking gems. And, because I actually tell Jay, like, hey, good. And this is before he had the fucking beard and all this shit. And he's like, hey, thank you for coming out. And he's like, thank you for having us and shit like that.
Yeah.
He didn't have to fucking say that, dude. Like, and then saw him at the last GCW because Bloodsport was on Friday night, and then they had another one. It was Nick Gage. I think on top it was Nick Gage versus Suzuki, Minoru Suzuki. Right.
Minoru.
Yeah, and then that's actually the night that the Briscoes won the GCW World Tag Team Championships. And again, just hanging out with them in the back and whatever, like, just genuine fucking cute, like, all of those guys. And right now, GCW is one of my favorite promotions right now. There's nothing against, the WWE, nothing against AEW, whatever, but, like, and I love AEW. I love New Japan. I love Fierce Females out in Scotland. There's so much good wrestling. That's why I'm kind of irritated with the WWE right now, man. First off, total disclosure, not a fan of Roman Reigns.
Me neither. Kind of annoying.
Okay, so why?
I know your deal, Woods, because you told me beforehand. So, but
yeah. What is so? Joe, what is your deal with Roman Reigns? Because I want to hear.
I just think that they're overusing the well with the heels. That they had him as a face, and then they toss him as a heel, and now all of a sudden the fans really hate him, and they hated him before. Now they're acting like they liked him. I'm like, choose your battles, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
You're abusing that heel thing. Geek's supposed to be the heel and take my side on this, but come on, man.
Come on, man.
You get the shake of the head and the curve of the mustache. Really?
Really? Just really. Where are you on the Roman Reigns deal, Geek? Are you pro, con, or kind of indifferent?
To be honest, I actually like what he's doing right now as a heel. He's doing some of the best work since he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have done this. I mean, it's not his fault.
5 years ago?
10 years ago. That just turned him, and I believe that he should have just been heel 10 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was. We're going the Shield debut, I think it was 6, if not 7 years ago, right? So obviously they came in as heels, right? As a kind of, they were supposed to be the heavies for CM Punk, right? And it wasn't supposed to be Roman. The way that Punk pitched it, it was supposed to be Chris Hero, right? Or what do they call him? Cassius Ohno, or what have you. And obviously they swapped it out. And I will agree with you, Geek, that this is the best era of his career, right? And I'm saying Roman Reigns, the character. Now, I'm not saying Joe Anawahi, who's a father and a husband who beat leukemia. I'm not saying, like, fuck yeah, good. And one of the things that I do like about Roman is the fact that he's not the prototypical savage or the prototypical gangster, right? That most Polynesians end up being in wrestling, right? So that's cool. But then again, what other form of entertainment? Think about music. Think about, all the streaming services that there are, right? Movies, shows, and whatever. That it takes 6 fucking years for the lead character to get good. Tell me one that a band on their 6th album, they're like the shit, right? A movie on the 6th art. Like, imagine if the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right, didn't hit until like fucking movie 6. We wouldn't give a shit about how good it was because the other 5 stunk.
Yeah.
And that's my deal with Roman. It's just like, yes, he's doing the greatest work of his career, but there's just ideological differences. The fact that he's selling punches when he has a fucking vest. When fucking D'Lo Brown hit you with his frog splash, you died. You fucking died.
Lights out. You keep going.
Right. So there's that, right? And then when he sold the punches to the fucking vest, right? And then he's a SWAT guy, but then you're a badass, but you're wearing SWAT gear with a bulletproof vest. What the fuck are we doing, right? Exactly. Then in addition, you have your cousins, the Usos, that are twin brothers and sons of the guy who used to shake his ass, Rikishi. And I'm not saying anything. I fucking love the Salafa, like that whole family, Big Quiche, fuck yes, right? But then they're part of the Uso penitentiary, and Roman's a SWAT guy. What have you seen fucking guys in the penitentiary fucking chill with a guy on the SWAT team?
That's an oxymoron right there.
Yeah. Right. And then he does a move called the drive-by. What SWAT person does the drive-by? Yeah. Never. So that's just my deal. And I also dig the, like I said, tribal chief, I'm part Fijian. Shit, yeah. Fuck yeah. But why the fuck are you wearing the damn SWAT boots and SWAT pants? I've been to an island. We don't have fucking SWAT boots. We wear fucking barefoot. The fuck?
Maybe he has bad feet. Maybe he has foot fungus. Roman's got foot fungus. Start that hashtag. Roman's got foot fungus.
I'm gonna tag you guys in it too. Hell, I did.
Hashtag Roman's got foot fungus.
I want that. That would be a cool chant to get going, but Roman's got foot fungus doesn't go.
Roman's got foot fungus.
Yeah, we gotta
we'll
figure
it out. I mean, you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in as a chant. So there you go.
You got fungus.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, fuck yeah. No, we're gonna get this shit trending on here. Hell yes.
Roman's gonna never come after me. Be like, who are you saying?
He's gonna call us and say, "I want to come on your podcast."
One of my dream interviews is, besides going back in time to interview my grandfather, I want to interview Paul Heyman. I want to pick his brain.
Paul Heyman would be an awesome interview.
His brain. Yeah. The way he manipulates the world with his words. That's the other guy. I look up to people that could speak in elegant ways, in elegant fashion, like Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yes.
Like he's the best to learn from Paul Heyman.
People like Jimmy Hart.
Yes.
People that know how to speak. Elvis Duran's. People that know how to talk and get people to think and listen. That's what Joe Panther III is so eloquent with his intros and how to zinc things with things, even though I blooper names sometimes on the podcast. Geek can tell you I fuck people's names up so bad.
Oh man, I have to correct him all the time.
I've done a few of those, even with Raymond Bozio, Terry Bozio, Frank Zappa, drummer's son. That's a good brother and wrestling fan, but I fucked it up too. So I mean, it happens. It happens.
It's like Joe said the funniest thing to Kylan King. He goes, he's like, I don't like Spider-Man, and Kylan King is the biggest Spider-Man fan. I'm like, Joe, what are you doing? Right?
I know why I said that, because I told you why, Geek. I said that because when Ghostbusters Afterlife, the final trailer came out, all the Spider-Man fans were in the chat on Instagram. I don't like this. Where's the Spider-Man trailer? Where every other 5 comment was, where's the Spider-Man trailer? When are we getting this? Okay, this is nice, but where's the Spider-Man trailer? I'm like, you damn Spidey fans. You guys have had how many movies within how many generations?
Yeah.
Us Ghostbuster fans have just been sitting there like the skeleton, sitting there like SpongeBob SquarePants in that meme like this. And we get the girls one, we're just like, but if you go on Rotten Tomato, see how awesome that popcorn bucket looks for Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Yeah.
Full and just sitting there happy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new one yet?
No, I need to. I've been like, I don't want to go on Twitter. I don't want to go on social media.
Woods, go see this movie. It's the most beautiful tribute to Harold Ramis. It brought tears to my eyes.
Wow.
The man is a genius with
script. Yes, he is.
He wrote Ghostbusters. He wrote Groundhog Day. He wrote Stripes. If it wasn't for, I just got chills. If it wasn't for Harold Ramis, none of us would be wearing Proton. We'd all be wearing Space Age Proton. If he would never have made this movie the way it was, we'd be talking about the Ghostbusters in another dimension taking on the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah. And look at how many fucking merchandise opportunities that warranted over the course of 40 years, pretty much.
30-something years. And it's just, I'm so proud to be honored to be a Ghostbuster.
Especially the mini Marshmallow Mans.
Oh, mini Stay Puffs, little babies. Especially I have my little buddy always watching me, my little buddy. Always floating around.
Slimer!
Baby Slimer, he's here.
That's great. I love it. Oh, shit, man.
A friend from Holland made me this.
Wait, Holland?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's... Well,
send it to me, and now I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like, I don't want to put it in my keychain, and it gets messed up and lost forever, and I'll cry because all you'll find is a tag. I made him an Instagram page, and I made it around the pandemic, and people look forward to seeing his posts. I stopped doing it a lot because I'm like, no one's gonna look at the stupid thing. I brought him to the movies from Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I have him sitting with a little piece of popcorn because you know how much popcorn costs these days, $18. I put a little piece of popcorn. People are like messaging the page. Why did whoever took the picture, they only gave you one piece of popcorn? I think, hey, popcorn's like $12, $13.
Yeah.
You get one piece of popcorn, baby Slimer. One piece of popcorn.
Just one crochet Slimer. Ever so Spiffy says, do you want a job to Roman?
It's a meme. You have to look it up on YouTube.
Okay. And she also says, I think Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar look like Chip Hazard and Archer from Small Soldiers. I like it. Shout out. The late great Phil Hartman. And you know what? It's crazy because you know, if you didn't see Small Soldiers, you thought that the fucking monsters were the bad guys and the army dudes were the fucking good guys, and they fucking flipped it and whatever, and they were the evil fucks, and then the weird monster people were so weird. But I agree, they do look like that. Now in terms of Dudes at Ringside Podcast, the internationally known show, how did you guys figure out hey, we want to do a podcast and whatever, because you guys came almost seemingly like a RKO, seemingly out of nowhere. And you guys have been hitting it hard and hit it fast. Big name guests. WWE Hall of Famers like Stevie Ray, Teal Piper, so how did you guys start the podcast?
Geek.
I've been asking Joe to do a podcast for the longest time. And Every time he slammed the door right in my face and said no.
I was like Dana Barrett in when Dana Peter goes, "What? No kiss?" And he's like, she shoves the door in his face. That was me with Geek. What? No podcast? Like, you heard my elbow just pop live on the air.
Oh, good points.
Yes, that shows my age. Elbow is popping. Elbow is popping. Like, I didn't want to do it because I thought all this work I had to do. And besides, I just recently had to, like, I have now, I use a laptop for the show. My computer that I had for like ever just shit the bed on me, like completely died. And like, it would go on, it would be on for a while and then it would turn off. So I had to get a laptop, and I told us to Geek, would you really want us to be doing half a show and all of a sudden and it goes off and it was gone. And you're talking to someone, or you were talking by yourself then forever? No. So then I got a laptop, and it was just me and Geek just talking about random stuff. But that's the reason why. And I watch a Ghostbusters podcast I've been watching for like ever. They're called the Yes Have Some podcast. I'm trying to get their attention to come on our podcast, because if it wasn't for the Yes Have Some podcast, and the other one is there's another podcast that Yes Have Some, mostly because they really, really deeply. I wish you could make this a clip for me so I could. Oh, sorry, Woods. Like, I really like would like to thank them so much for like helping me and wanting me to do this, because I see how much they have fun, and like they laugh and joke with each other so much that I'm like, well, I could do that. I could totally do that. And now I'm like, I want them to come on our podcast, but it's hard to get in contact because they're so busy. So yeah. And then I was like, you know what, Geek? I'll do it. You do it.
Which I mean, obviously there's some limitations, but I mean, not to throw too much kayfabe out there, but I mean, this wonderful thing called StreamYard, which everybody that like, oh, I wanted to start a podcast or whatever, I'm like, StreamYard, dude, like that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do.
StreamYard's the best, and I told Joe that StreamYard's the best.
Yeah, I mean, the Josh Barnett. I think the first 100 episodes that I did was just from my phone. That's how easy it was to kind of run, and then much like you, Joe, I got a laptop and, here we are now. But I mean, it got me through. And that's also one of the reasons why I never did a podcast in the 5 years that I've been doing interviews here in Southern California. It was because I was like, I don't like to edit. I really don't. And then this happened and I can just go live and whatever. And it's out there, what have you, it's so freeing, isn't it?
Yeah. Me and, like I said, me and Geek just started out talking to each other, talking about Raw and SmackDown. We had our friend on Ballot Club guy, the first episode, even though he was late, and I thought he was going to ghost us. I'm like, he's late, he's not coming in. And then Geek's like, oh, here he is. And I'm like, talking smack, telling him he ghosted us. And then I get caught. Like always, I get caught saying he ghosted us in the middle of the show. You have to go back and listen to that one. It's funny. I'm like, he ghosted us. Joey's here.
I think that one was really bad. So
He sounds like a duck.
Yeah. What?
No, this was when I was still using my cell phone.
Okay,
Before I started using the laptop for StreamYard, because I figured, I could just use my phone. But then it's, everyone knows how StreamYard works with phones.
I mean, it's a game changer. It is absolutely.
No, they work bad. Like,
oh, did it?
No,
beginning of the show, he sounded like like that.
He started. Sometimes it bees like that, But it's kind of the trials and tribulations of being a podcast or what is it? A content creator? Is that what the kids are saying now, right? Which
I think.
What has been your guys' kind of, I guess, hardest thing to overcome?
My hardest thing is actually I want to get better at talking. So talking more and be more talkative. So that's something I want to work on. Joe?
My thing is like trying to get our name out there further without paying the different like Facebook. I don't want to have to pay people to watch us. Besides, I have friends that have business cards, and plus, where I live in Pennsylvania, I live in a small town. So, like, I say I have a podcast, and they're like, "You do? Oh, you hear about Joe? Oh, you have a podcast, Joe, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we want a sticker here." But I try to reserve my stickers for wrestlers. I try not to give them so many people. Like, if you wanted a sticker, I can mail it to you over like tomorrow or whenever I can get to the mail box. But
we have given stickers out to fans before, so we have. Yeah, so if you want one, we're not gonna deny you a sticker. We'll give one out for free. So
yeah, like we've had so many fun people. Like the girl from last night, Queen of Hearts. You would like to have her on your podcast because she does martial arts.
Really?
Yeah, Queen of Hearts. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. You would love her. She's so sweet.
And her wrestling name is just the Queen of Hearts?
Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And she has a sticker that's a card.
I mean, it's like this big. It's like this big. Her stickers are like this and then like that, blowing a kiss on the opposite side.
Whoa.
It's like, you know how ours is like this big?
Yeah.
Hers is like
a triangle. It's like a triangle, like a
big triangle, like that big. I'm like, I think you probably seen my coin jar on every episode that I show the wrestler. I don't know where the hell I'm gonna stick her sticker, but I'm gonna have to find somebody's spot to go over.
Somebody.
And I got a California girl on here. I don't know if you ever heard of Vamp.
Which
Cali girl?
Oh, okay.
That's Vamp. I don't know if you ever heard of Vamp. You would love her. She's so sweet. There you go. There's Vamp.
Wow, that's yeah, and is that where you put the stickers on the water jug?
Yes. Got lots. I got Billy Stark, which is another girl you should try to get her. She's oh my God. Billy Stark has the smile that would stop traffic.
Really?
Yeah, stop traffic, and they just would stand there like this.
And the nicest person you'll ever meet.
Sweetest. Oh my God. Yeah. She would melt. She melts in your she melt. He makes everybody melt. Just that sweet, happy, friendly personality that she's an alien too. So of course people stop and stare.
Which the aliens, right? They've kind of taken over wrestling. We've got obviously
Chris Statlander.
Yes, exactly. So Joe,
you're wrong on it. She's not an alien. She's Space Jesus.
Oh yeah, Space Jesus. Space Jesus.
That's fun.
And she got that fun blue hair too. I mean, her hair is it's like this blue.
Wow.
It's funny. They're like, what color hair, Billy, what color hair did you want? And then she's like looking through her purse, probably went, this blue. Wow. Like blue. Like
blue dabba dee baba die.
Yeah, that's like a thing in my head.
Old school song right there.
she's just a sweet person. When we got her, I thought it was a joke. I'm thinking, okay, we have actual dudes at Ringside email, but I use my email to get the wrestlers, and sometimes I'm like, why can't these people message us on Instagram? Like,
yeah.
If I took a picture of our Instagram now, because Geek made it professional, so we have general and what's the general and the prime.
Yeah.
So now I used to delete all the people that didn't message us back. You make your page. You have to make your page professional, so you get both prime and general. So people that you message and they don't get back to you, put them in general. And then the prime and people that are still talking to you, like person that I left in our chat, and I want to say this from the bottom of my heart and from Geek. No, I'm not gonna say anything bad, Geek. Thank you so much for connecting us to Jessie Santana.
You mean Jenny Santana, yeah?
Yeah, Jenny. Oh my God, thank you so much for connecting us to her.
Isn't she great?
What a doll. Oh my God, what a doll. Oh my God, I still think that I would bow to her feet. Like, she is such a sweetie pie. Like,
well, she needs it because she got stem cells in the knee. That's a funny thing. That's kind of where my worlds collide in my like MMA kind of stuff, and then pro wrestling, right? Because she's a legit brown belt, almost a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So that's kind of one of the things that kind of prompted it, was all the mat time over the years of, kind of aspiring to become a black belt and whatever. I mean, she's competition ready. Before this kind of injury, medal here, medal there. Going to Houston, from Vegas, to do an International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation competition and medals, and but that can wear on your joints, is what I'm saying.
I feel bad because, like, I'm so glad you connected us to her. Like, now, whenever she has an accomplishment in her life, she tags us in it.
Right, exactly.
Isn't that cool, Geek? I find that so awesome. Like,
that's a freaking awesome. By the way,
I asked her, can she make a promo for us? I thought normally wrestlers make it and send us. She took a while. Geek knows she took a while to send us the promo. When she did, it hit me right here because she said the name of the promotion that the new promotion. Before anybody else knew, we knew because she told us. That hit me here because I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's almost like you're breaking the story, and not to say that
I didn't say it. We kept the secret. We let her say it.
Yeah, no, 100%, and it's fun when you can get recognized, for your art and your craft. One of my buddies and fellow podcasters, Eddie Torres from the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast, he had who I think should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, not that it matters to him, but Jim Johnston, who created all of those incredible themes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And, because of some of the excerpts that, came from the podcast, like, it's been shared a couple thousand times within the last week and a half since the podcast descended into the interwebs.
Yeah, Jim Johnson's awesome. So iconic songs right there.
I would love to connect with him to come on because right now we're on this wave like of so many things. We're right now, okay. The upcoming podcast for us, we have you today, and we have nobody till Sunday, and we have a girl from OVW, one half of another tag team, and then 8 p.m. we have a male wrestler, and then the 30th we have Jessie Bell and her tag team partner, and then the 30th we have the Woad.
Wow!
That Friday we have Man Bun Jesus,
and then that Friday, actually the first we have a female tag team, Angie and her partner.
Really?
Yeah. We don't have anybody Thursday. No one's dinged the doorbell yet.
Which I gotta ask, and people ask me this a lot, but I don't really have an answer, to be honest with you. But what is the goal? I mean, I don't. For me, it's about hearing stories, of people such as yourself, and really getting to the heart of the matter, right? Not so much like questions. We're having a conversation. We're having fun. You share a story, I share a story, and what have you. So for me, it's just like if there's a Joe Panther Jr., there's a Metal Geek out in the world, and they might not even know that you exist. Yeah. But, by featuring you, and not that I would do it, but, it's just getting people in touch with each other, because at a time where everything is like politically all wacky, everything is kind of like, oh, COVID, no COVID, or it exists, it doesn't exist, vax, no vax, and all of this kind of dissension amongst everyone. It's just like, can we bring people back and have, get people to have pride in themselves and also the good of humanity? Like, you believe in humanity again, right?
Yeah.
We want to help wrestlers, though. That's what we want to do. That's the goal.
Me and Geek, like, we want to help the indies. Like, as we always said, me and Geek love the indies so much. Doesn't matter what country you're from, what state you're from. If you want to hang out with Metal Geek and I, come in our bar. We'll hang out. We'll drink beers. We'll eat pizza. Model serve you a nice slice of delicious New York City pepperoni pizza. We'll fold it and put it on the table for you. We'll give you your tacos, give you your beer. We'll sit and talk shit, and we'll talk wrestling. You tell me your stories, I'll tell my stories. You come and hang out, come out of the gallery, answer your messages. We're doing this to support you.
Yeah. Even if they don't make it to like the mainstream wrestling, our goal is to help the wrestlers out, because think about it this way: we're showing their T-shirt, we're showing their merch on our page, so we're supporting them. So no matter what,
how many T-shirts have we gotten so far, Geek? Like we got quite a few.
Yeah.
Like they send us stuff now. Like it's really cool. Like we got Alfie. We got one from Australia, Savannah Summers. Another sweetie pie. I got to send Geek Chris T-shirt.
Wow.
This is a heavy T-shirt too. I said to someone last night. I was like, if Savannah threw a T-shirt in the audience, she would knock out a child. That shirt's heavy. Like I put it on my lap. It was like really heavy. I was like, geez, she put a little money. The Alfie's T-shirt, that's her creation. She created that logo. It has the. I put it up to my dad and showed my dad. My dad's like, there's a copyright C in that corner. I was like, what? Really? And I'm like, and I geeked it in. He's like, really? Right, Geek?
Yep.
And we got one.
That's a trademark.
I call it a copyright.
Yeah?
I call it the copyright. Yeah. I'm sure it's saying copyright because Instagram likes to throw me the copyright book if I post music. And what video was it? Song that we wrestler promo that I had to like take it down immediately because they said no. In my what I got the email and I was like, damn it! And I called you.
And it was a song. It was a song that was on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah.
Really?
It was an Instagram book. Yeah, it was on the Instagram list of music that you could use. And it was for a wrestler we were promoting, and I had to take it down and reload it with a different song, or just post a picture. I was like,
that's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I was mad. I was like, oh, how many strikes do we have now?
Yeah. But that's the weird thing about Instagram, right? Oh, I mean, I had an instance where Noah Lazarus, who is an artist, right? And he performed a song, a song that he made, right? That is big in the Philippines and everything. He performed his own song, and I got a copyright strike from Facebook and YouTube. It's him singing it. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
It's wild.
It was funny because when we had Shorty UK, that's another female wrestler that you should.
I mentioned it to Wood.
Yeah,
before.
absolutely.
Oh, she is a sweetheart, but you would have to go early for her because she's in the UK. Like at 2:00, 2:30 for her. She's not just a singer. She's a wrestler. She's a singer. She's a rapper. She's an artist and a wrestler and a champion right now. You forgot that. You said we're international. You forgot one thing about us, Woods. We are the home of champions.
Really?
Yeah, we've had champions from all over the world. That's why in the intro I always say.
And not only that, after they come on our podcast, they win a belt or get signed.
They win a belt.
Wow.
I swear, if in the CCW tournament, if King wins that belt, we're owed a huge picture of her with the belt. Like she said, she'll do it. So come on, King. That belt happens. Remember that?
Why the hell not? I mean, that's a nice little caveat to have,
Magic. I don't know if it's just magic or it's just like that line from Ghostbusters. Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. That it's funny when that second trailer happened. They played that line. Yeah. I got teary eyed when they played that line in the trailer. Oh. Call it fate, Ray. Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. I believe everything happens for a reason. I even think that would Geek about this podcast. There's a reason why we got kicked. We got turned away all the time. Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. This podcast, this popularity, I believe everything happens for a reason.
There you go.
Destined to be on top of the podcast world.
There you go. I dig it. Which, by the way, Ever So Spicy says, don't forget the pets too. That's why you're here. But the pet, we're floof friendly and love the furry friends.
Yes. We have plenty of floofs. I have my statues in my room. He hangs out with me every show. My little crow.
The crow.
Yes, the crow hangs out with me. She's my key master. Tells me what to do. And I got my Zack Ryder.
Wow.
Still waiting for the GCW one to come out.
Oh, that'd be good.
This is a limited edition too.
And what I mean by that is the glass in his back and everything.
I'm still waiting for Zack Ryder to answer our messages because I have a picture. I put it on Instagram of me, Zach, and Kurt from NYWC when they were kids.
Before WWE.
Yes.
Before
I'm like this in the picture with them. I'm like waiting for him to message me back. Like, dude, I keep hearing about you with all this picture. Where is this picture? Send it to me. Overnight, I'll be like, Mom's sick. Mom, we need to go to the post office now. I don't even think I would send him the original picture. I'd be too scared. Because it's my picture. Like,
right,
what
exactly. I mean, you can scan it, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a FedEx office somewhere.
I'm scared that I'm gonna send it and it's gonna be gone and I will never see it again. That's my memory I'll never have back. Like me and think about it. Me and Metal Geek at WrestleMania 35, I watched those two men win the World Tag Team titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched them. I freaked out.
That was a great WrestleMania, though.
So glad you can't see down. I didn't even look what my shirt was inside. Why my collar was all funky? It's inside out.
I mean, it happens, right? Like,
yeah. For a reason. No one notices.
Oh, and Ever Since 50 says, I have a mini golden doodle. Oh, that's awesome. I got let's see if he's here. I think I've got a pug. You guys want to see the pug?
Sure, pug. It's a pug. Yay, pug.
Pugsley.
It's a pugster.
So there's Pugsley here.
It's the dog from Men in Black.
I know, right? That's him. Right?
Do you ever think about dressing him up for Halloween? You could be what's his name, and he could be the pug.
Yeah, all I would need is I think I've got a black suit, right? I think
there you go.
Yeah, and then
you need the shades and everything. You know?
Yeah, 100%. So that's Pugsley.
You're gonna laugh, Woods. In my Ghostbusters. Oh, there you have two pugs.
Yes, I've got Darla, which.
Darla. Did you name her after My Girl?
No, it's actually what is it? The oh God, what's the movie? Little Rascals. Yes, absolutely.
I'm thinking of Darla. I'm thinking of My Girl. I don't know why I'm thinking of My Girl.
Hey, yeah, I mean that My Girl is definitely a deal, right? You know, and poor R.I.P. Macaulay Culkin in that movie.
You know what? That's my life. I'm allergic to bees, so that's like my life. Yeah.
What? So no Secret Life of Bees for you, good sir?
Oh no. I hear bees and I go into like a panic. I go into like what this Geek. I think Geek remember that during college time. We hear bees and Joe just bolted out of the freaking like room or
college was a long time ago.
I would panic and Geek was like, "Where'd Joe go?"
I mean, it happens. Which, by the way, obviously, both Geek and Joe, there have been a lot of people who have gotten you here to this juncture where you are with a internationally known podcast, a podcast of champions, right? The home of champions, rather. So let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Okay.
Shout out. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, shout out to Kiara. Shout out to Alfie. Shout out to Amy Crimson. Shout out to the Dirty Heels. Shout out to our friends from Canada. The mini host and her dad. Shout out to my parents. Shout out to Metal Geek's parents. Shout out to Spiffs. Shout out to like everybody, like all my peeps, all the fam, you know, and CPW in London, England. Guys.
CPW is awesome.
Thank you, CPW, again for giving us the door. Because as I said,
Chad Epic is another one. Chad Epic.
Yeah.
Chad Epic. Yeah, Chad Epic. You got to get him. He's funny as hell. Oh my god.
Chad Epic. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Tamaku is another great guy.
Tamaku. Oh god.
So many. We did like 130 episodes.
Well, for Kiara. She was like, if we were in a cartoon world, we had like the dresser drawer over the UK door, and we didn't even know it was there. We heard a knock, knock, knock one day, and I'm like looking in the messages, girl named Kiara that says, "Wait, let's keep doing the shout outs, but I'll tell you the Kiara story after Geek does his shout outs."
Wait, where did Woods go? Woods left us. No, right on his show.
All right, Geek. Like, do you want to hear? Do you want to hear the Kiara story? Well, like the Kiara, like she was in our messages, and like one day she does, right, Geek, right?
Yeah.
She was in our message, and I was just like, who's this Kiara girl? And I looked, she's a wrestler. And she says, I got canceled on by a podcast. So, like, can I come on your podcast? And I'm like, Geek, this girl Kiara wants to come on a message. You want to let her on? She's like, what day? He's like, Thursday. And like, it worked out, even though the time was kind of funky because of her. But if it wasn't for her, we would never be known in the UK. Like, that's amazing, you know?
Definitely. Also, shouts out to Jason Hyde, by the way. Jason is awesome.
Oh, yeah, the Scottish Wrestling Network. Please get back to us. We do want to talk to you. Please.
Yeah. Those guys are awesome, the Scottish Wrestling Network, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Scott, we still want to talk to you, Scottish Wrestling Network. Still, we got to find you a date on this calendar of chaos. Of chaos and love. Like we still have that Thursday if you're willing to stay up late. The second.
Shout out to Tom Clark.
Tom Clark and Tom Clark's main event. Oh my God, yes. We'd be called hot garbage if we didn't give him a highlight. Funness. Echo Reed from the UK. She's definitely another friendly face that we have to say thank you to because Echo Reed is British and she's such a sweetie pie. Kaya the Witch, and also Sparks. Kayla Sparks. Kayla Sparks.
Christina Marie's another one.
Christina Marie. Oh my God. The list goes on and on and on. Like the owner of Liberty Pro Wrestling, women's wrestling. You need to get him. He is the coolest dude. Another.
Liberty Pro. Yeah. Yes.
They get good stuff.
I'm promoting them. I'm promoting them according to Woods.
Oh man.
Why not?
Some people are going to be mad that we Megan Mason's another one, right?
Megan Mason.
You would love Megan Mason because she's trained, you know, in mixed martial arts. So,
and also Magic City Wrestling from Miami, Florida.
Vinny right there, right?
Vinny from Magic City Wrestling. 305, baby, 305. That was my favorite T-shirt. Geek got the white one. I got the black one. I'm like, yes. But the Liberty Pro shirt, I fear wearing this T-shirt because the color is white. And I'm like, but then it's a women's promotion. Because as I said to you, Woods, the women's wrestlers, they answer their messages. The guys just go, what do we do? I don't know what to do. Women are like, oh, look, a message. Geek always ask me, why don't we have more men? I'm like, because they don't answer their messages. And the women's wrestlers have cooler stories. The wrestlers have cooler stories. They have more, you know what I mean? They're more like there's so many names that we have to like say, and we keep like blanking. Rain from Scotland.
He had Rain on his podcast too.
Yeah,
so Rain's awesome.
Rain. What is another cool person? The one that you had on our podcast, and we got her on ours. What's her name? Oh my God.
Which one?
Oh my God. She was from Scotland, and she used the British time to come on our podcast, Geek. Oh my God, you had her on.
Brody, right? Brody Adler.
Brody Adler.
Awesome.
Oh, Brody, yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
Ian Skinner. I'm looking at the past podcast.
Jason Hyde's great, by the way.
Jason Hyde, Jesse Nolan.
So funny. The guy's so funny, though.
Little Mean Kathleen. Another funny person. Super Panda. Thank you, Super Panda, for like giving us it, even though we haven't heard from you in months, in a while.
I'm not involved in this.
Skills the Great. Oh my God, Riley Rocket, another one that thank you, Riley Rocket. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the past wrestlers that we've had on our podcast at the calendar when it started in April when we started getting wrestlers like
Joey Conway.
Jesse Nolan. Oh my gosh, there was so many wrestlers. Dickie Rods from NYWC in New York.
Yeah.
Oh
Cage.
my gosh, it's like so many wrestlers. King Chaos, another podcaster. George McKee, there we go. That's his name. George McKee and his daughter, the mini host. Thank you to them because a father-daughter. When can you say there was a father-daughter? A father and daughter that interview wrestlers.
Yeah. We have doing the Orton podcast here in Southern California. Their father-daughter podcast.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You guys are cool.
You're cool. You're cool, Woods.
You're awesome, bro.
You're awesome. Which I gotta ask, for those who want to subscribe to the podcast and follow you guys on social media, where can they find you?
Google.
No. If you want to find me on my personal page, you can look me up under Ghostbuster Joe. I just changed it back because of the movie. I may go back to Joe Panther III, but I'm on the fence about it because, as Winston says, you can be anything in your life, but you'll always be a Ghostbuster.
But you could find us at Dudes at Ringside, which is one word, at Dudes at Ringside. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. The best thing to do is just search for us on Google, and you'll find us everywhere.
Find everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I've also put in the description right below.
Yeah.
Cool ones.
Oh yes. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks for inviting us. Thanks for inviting us, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to do it at all, but you did. So we appreciate it. We appreciate every opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are doing the good work.
Yeah. All right.
Which thank you guys for joining us here at the According Woods podcast. And if you haven't already done so, it's a weird echo, right?
Follow this guy right here. Follow this guy. Wait, where's the...
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. But go ahead and follow the dudes. Follow me. Subscribe to the podcast if you don't believe me or Joe, because you're subscribed, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As is Geek?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed. I'm subscribed to everything on you, you know? Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, whatever you have.
Well, we know me and Geek are about to launch an all new experience, a second podcast with me and him and Ever So Spippy. You mind if I announce it here?
You can go for it.
You can announce it.
We are venturing on something that we thought we would never do, and we love it too. We're doing a podcast about movies.
Ooh,
the Popcorny Podcast, starring Ghostbuster Joe, the Metal Geek, and Spiffy.
It's a play on words. It's a corny podcast, so we call it the Popcorny.
We're always corny, so it's the popcorn. Even your dog's like, really? That look she gave me was classic, because every girl that I've ever encountered, when I said something, she was like, really? That you have to make that. I mean, the dog, as your dog looks over and just like a question mark over.
He's like, "What?" Did they just say popcorn?
Really, Joe? Really, Dad? This guy's not cool.
It's like Papa.
Hey, Papa, he ain't cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, search for our new podcast. We should be launching it soon. So
it's official. For episode 1 is, of course, the best, the beautiful, the only Ghostbusters. We're gonna break down into Punk Ghostbusters Afterlife. We're gonna break down, give you our take on the lovely, the greatest, the best, the beautiful, the only Ghostbusters.
So if you haven't seen it, spoiler warning.
Don't listen to the episode till you see it, Mr. Woods.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do it like right now, and then watch the podcast.
Yeah, we're waiting to see. We're gonna try to find some time to do it because we're always so busy. So we have to find a Tuesday to do the show. We're not doing Dudes at Ringside, and I have to remember to take this out of the background when we do popcorn.
I'm gonna leave mine up. I don't care.
Yeah, it's a nice little cross promotion.
Cross promotion. You got to promote both shows.
But I told Geeks, like, oh, you can make another banner. I'm like, no, my dad's not going to make me another. He's going to go, you don't need it. Actually, I do. So I said 3 because I do one that's just exclusively on YouTube. It's called Ghost Head Talk Podcast. Ghost Heads Talk. Yeah. It's me and my buddy. This girl is part of my Ghostbusters community name's Laura. And she's Geek would say she knows a lot about Ghostbusters because she's very... I call her the tour guide of the Ghostbusters community because she knows everything and everything and everything and everything. So pretty much the first 3 episodes with her was her just talking to me just like this. Yeah. Well, have a good day, everybody. Good night. And then it was like, I did the highs and buys. That's all I did. But then I started talking as we got longer in the episodes. But yeah, Ghost Head Talk Podcast. Check that out too.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yes. I'm definitely going to check it out. As well, you guys should. And if you are going to go to subscribe to things, go ahead and do it to the According Woods podcast. But if you don't believe Joe, Geek, and I don't know why you wouldn't, well, here's Zeta Zang.
Great guest.
Hey, this is Zeta Zang. Make sure you subscribe to According to